Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is daring to dream. So it's confronting and scary and takes courage to be willing to dream because it can be very disruptive. Because you might see that there are spaces in your life that need to change, and it means disruption and upheaval sometimes. And it should be a really interesting conversation. But before we get started, good morning, Rosalind. Good morning to everybody else who's joining us. Welcome to what I hope will be an engaging conversation. But before we get started, let's take a minute to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And this time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, all your molecules and your electrons, and creating a brilliant beam of light from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together, vigorously rub those hands together to feel the friction and the temperature and the pressure, all that motion and the tickling and tingling when you stop, and allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables you to experience life. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So daring to dream. Why do they say daring to dream? Well, dreaming, and I don't mean in a dreamy state. I mean dreaming your life into being, kind of dreaming, connecting with your truest desires, your soul's desire is very confronting, particularly if we are dreaming from a space of pure potential rather than from existing options. So I was speaking with a client yesterday who I'd given them the homework to write their bucket list, write the things that not that they want to do before they die, but the things that they really are drawn and called to do and experience. And it's interesting because this person is at a space where they're working, but they don't have to be working. And so it's a conversation about what do they want to do with this phase of their lives, this, potential last chapter of their lives, to be able to be vital and thriving and fulfilled. And they said, they didn't do their homework, which wasn't a surprise because it's an intimidating exercise for many people. And the reason is that they might discover that what they're doing isn't what they really want. And what does that then mean? That means that there's a call for change, and change can bring upheaval. Even the thought of change. I remember years ago, I said to a very good friend, what's your greatest dream? And they said, I'm not going there. It was so funny. It was funny, it was funny and tragic, I think, both. It's like, I'm not going to allow myself to dream. And why is that? Why is it that we find safety in the familiar, even if we're not enlivened by the familiar, right? So this notion of daring to dream is stepping outside our idea, perhaps, of who we are. There's the threat of disruption for sure, because one of the things that this person discovered was how truly stressed and worn they were in their job. And they were trying in so many ways to convince themselves that this job was fulfilling. But when it comes to Sundays and thinking about work starting on Monday, it was not a joyful experience. That should be a big clue, by the way. You know, that maybe there's something more for you available in life. And then it brings up so many fears around capability and putting yourself out there. And once you dare to dream, what happens if your dream doesn't come true? So Rosalind says, even before vision, and set aside the how am I going to get there? Exactly. That's what we're talking about. Set aside how are you going to get there, because that's when the universe kicks in. You know, the how is not you don't lead with the how, because that keeps you limited. But anyway, the ability or allowing to vision a dream can be restricted for any number of reasons. How to pass these barriers, even if we don't know what the reasons are. Well, so it was very, very, very interesting in the context of the session that we did around this question of dreaming and the fear, the attendant fear. It was very interesting because it went back to childhood and having had very limited time with their father. And so they learned to sort of settle for the time that they had, and also the tremendous struggles that their mother experienced in the workplace, and that she endured in being a provider for the kids. And so there was sort of a sense of obligation to sort of suck it up and suffer through it. And there was also the sense of, you know, take what you can get, and be grateful for what you get, even if it isn't fulfilling, even if it isn't fully satisfying. And so it was really interesting to see these issues arise. And also the fact that this person was really worn from their experience at work. And so there's a willingness, like one of the reasons that they said that they were afraid to entertain the dream is because they might discover that they're not actually happy where they were. And that is what happened. And so the question of how to pass these barriers, I think it takes deep introspection to recognize what the barriers might be. So if we notice that there's fear, we get to follow that rabbit trail. You know, where's the fear coming from? What is that bringing up for me? The process that I do with folks, the core connection work, is sort of a free association, semi-dream, semi-meditation, guided visualization in a way, except it's guided by your own intelligence, the symbols that you bring forward. And it's pretty powerful, the symbols that we present ourselves with, so if you're good at imagining, one way to find out what these barriers or how to get beyond these barriers might be by sort of allowing yourself to say, okay, so what's the first thing that comes to mind? What am I noticing about it? What's the feeling that comes up around it? And there might be memories of childhood that pop up, and it can seem very unrelated, but it's not. It's not. And it's your other than conscious awareness presenting keys to unlocking whatever the matrix of emotion and fear might be. So we were doing a session on the fear, not even on the dreams yet, just on the fear. And the thing that was important was to say, just because you have a dream doesn't mean you have to go chase it right now. And just because you're unhappy with the job as it is now doesn't mean you have to leave there. There might be other opportunities or ways to reshape that position that give you more latitude. I mean, there are all different kinds of opportunities. That's the thing about dreaming, is you're opening up the field to provide you with all kinds of opportunities that wouldn't otherwise be there. And when you allow yourself not to be limited by the how and all the stories about I'm too old, I'm too this, I'm too that, or I'm not enough this, or I'm not enough that, then you're opening up potential. So I can tell you about the power of the universe to support you when you have a vision and you're aligned with it. I've talked about the eco park a lot with you. In 2017, I took ownership of this vision of an eco park, and I don't know. I intend for it to happen. I don't know how. And because I made that declaration, it was the beginning of Sustainability Now. It was the beginning of connecting with all these extraordinary people all over the world doing remarkable things. And it's opening up my life into becoming more and more in alignment with my heart and soul. And I can tell you that when you allow yourself to dream and then to step into the commitment of that dream, and what that dream is if it's a true dream, it's a song of your soul. It's your soul calling you forward into the life that you came here to live. Then it provides you with a context. It provides you with a North Star, a sense of purpose. And the kind of dream I'm talking about is a dream that it may or may not be achievable. It may not be something that you ever achieve. So it may be that I never achieved the eco park. However, it's not the outcome, it's the journey. And so the journey thus far has been tremendously rich and evolving, and it has evolved me. And I think that that's the function of allowing ourselves to dream and allowing ourselves the freedom to express our deepest desires and to bring them into manifestation. It doesn't mean it's going to be an easy path, but it is a path that provides all kinds of rewards that we would never anticipate, and all kinds of magical synchronicities that that the universe gives us as we are in alignment. It's kind of high magic, if you want to call it that, just because it's like being tuned into your own perfect radio station. And perfect is maybe the wrong word, because maybe it's not the wrong word, but it's not always easy. Not to say it's easy, but it's enriching, it's fulfilling. And I think we deserve the opportunity to find that fulfillment. And it means we get to do a lot of work on ourselves. Sometimes, well, we know the song, the Rolling Stones, you can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. And the need part, I perceive that as this soul song piece, it's available to us if we have the courage to step into it. And so we might have some dragon slaying to do on the way to getting to be able to follow the dream, right? We might need to be relieving ourselves of some fears. We might need to be giving ourselves permission to feel worthy of following our dreams, to be willing to risk potential failure or not achieving the dream, having things turn out different than we hoped or dreamt of. So Rosalind says, children don't have this fear. Their dreams seem to flow with no impediments. It's changing all the time. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a dancer, and so on. So how does identity play into dreaming? Setting aside identity too. It's a good question. Identity is such an interesting issue or conversation in and of itself, right? Because truly identity is fluid, and the one answer for me that I have found as to who I am is I am life expressing itself through this unique vehicle. And this vehicle that I am for the expression of life is changing all the time. There are some foundational things that are sort of a constant theme, but identity is not a fixed thing. We kind of try to pretend that it is. We try to pretend I know who I am. And the thing is that our knowing of who we are is very contextually based. I know who I am in this kind of situation, or up till now in this kind of situation. And really, it's not so much I know who I am as I know who I've been. That's really what so many of us identify with, that we identify with our jobs, or we identify with our story, but our stories can change. We identify with the things we do rather than how we be. So identity for me becomes less important. You know, we identify with our age or our gender or our ethnic origin or our sexuality or our physicality or our intelligence, or these are all qualities. These are not the totality of who we are. And these are behaviors or qualities or factoids, but they're not, collectively, they may start to create a three-dimensional sense of our beingness. But really, for me anyway, what works is I am life expressing itself. That works. And that gives me profound freedom. So again, if we're talking about dreams, if I'm life, the impulse of life moving through this unique form, that then provides me the freedom and the call to fulfill the dream that is in my heart, because then that is serving life in its most profound expression through this vehicle. So I had a conversation also with another client who's just very, very competent. We have decided that this person's a wizard. And we were talking about doing magic. And I'm not talking about abracadabra magic or witchy warlock magic. I'm talking about just creating kind of miracles. This person just is a tremendous, tremendous manifester. And it was so fascinating about when we were talking about the magic, and they were saying, well, it feels really selfish. And I said, look, your gift, this is a gift that you were given, and it's not yours. It's not you. It's a gift that you were given, and that gift is for you to be giving that gift to the world. What if your magic isn't personal? You know, what if the magic that you're called into doing is magic that is a gift to the world? And the analogy I gave was, what if someone is born with this beautiful voice? And should they not sing because other people don't have such beautiful voices? Or is that what the gift that they were given to give to the world? And so what if your magic is making the world a better place? And what if you're creating magic for others? So when these callings that we have in our hearts, they're gifts that were given to us to give to the world. They're a vehicle for us to express ourselves through, to express life through. And when we do that, when we give that gift, we find fulfillment, and we're giving that gift. So the dream is part of the gift. Whatever that dream is that's driving you, it's part of your gift to the world. And I'm not talking about dreams of big houses and fast cars and boats. I'm not talking about that kind of dream. Although that could be part of it, I suppose. I mean, if that's the part of your deepest heart speaking, then maybe there's something along the path of that journey for you that is your gift to the world. So daring to dream is the first step. It's daring to get in touch with what your heart really, really longs for, what your desire is for yourself in the world, because that's your soul speaking. At least this is, look, I'm not saying that this is true. I'm saying this is what, these are the hypotheses that I am working with and operating with at this moment. And it seems to hold water. So anyway, that's it for this morning. Daring to dream, daring to, so Rosalind says, practicing self-love opens up the heart and desires for ourselves. Yes, 100%, giving ourselves permission to have a desire. So many of us feel like if we have a desire, it's selfish, when in fact it can be the expression, our unique expression of life that we're here to share with the world. It's a different way of looking at it. Anyway, thank you so much for engaging in the conversation, and always so provocatively, Rosalind. So much appreciated. And thank you to all of you who have joined us and engage in these sometimes challenging conversations. So I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live here on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. And I invite you to check out the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network and Enlightened World Living. And until next time, so much